good evening. I'd like to call to order our regular meeting of the Plain Township Board of Zoning Appeals for February 5th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Attendance roll call, please.
Ms. Cerna,
Here.
Mr. Reichel, Mr. Souls,
Here.
Mr. Puccilates. Here. Mr. Beck.
Here.
Mr. Sutton.
All right, I'd like to now introduce the members of the board that are present. I'm Richard Beck, Vice Chairman. To my immediate left is Demetrius Puccilates, our Secretary. To his left is Thomas Ferrara, our Zoning Director. To my immediate right is Robert Souls, and to his right, Tia Cernova. Any changes to the agenda?
No, they're not.
Okay, they stand as presented. I'm going to waive reading the statement of duties. They can be found at the back, at the whole table by the door, if you're interested. Move on to approval of minutes. I'm going to do them separately, so we can vote separately. So, need a motion for approval of minutes from the July 3rd, 2024 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, got a first and a second. Roll call vote.
Ms. Cerna,
Yes.
Mr. Reichel, Mr. Souls,
Yes.
Mr. Puccilates,
Abstain.
and Mr. Beck.
Yes. All right, and then need a motion for approval of minutes from the December 4th, 2024 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ms. Cerna,
Yes.
Mr. Souls,
Yes.
Mr. Puccilates,
Yes.
Mr. Beck.
Yes. All right, do we have any unfinished business this evening? Seeing that there is none, we'll move to new business. First order of new business is election of officers for 2025.
I move that we elect Richard Beck as our chairman for the year 2025.
Got a motion?
That's motion.
Need a second?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ms. Cerna,
Yes.
Mr. Souls,
Yes.
Mr. Puccilates,
Yes.
Mr. Beck.
Abstain. Now we'll move to vice chairman.
I move that we make Bob Souls, or elect Bob Souls as our vice chairman for the year 2025.
I'll second.
Roll call vote.
Roll call. Cerna, Ms. Cerna,
Yes.
Mr. Souls,
Abstain.
Mr. Puccilates.
Yes.
Mr. Beck.
Yes. All right, now we move to secretary.
Move that Demetrius Puccilates continue as the secretary, as long as he wants to.
I'll second. Roll call vote.
Ms. Cerna,
Yes.
Mr. Souls,
Yes.
Mr. Puccilates,
Abstain.
Mr. Beck.
Yes. All right. Now that we have elections completed, we can move on to new business. Our first appeal is appeal number 1396-24. Applicant owner Katie Fisher, 2095 Windham Street Northeast, Canton, Ohio 44721. The applicant is requesting conditional use for the property located at 7975 Cleveland Avenue Northwest, North Canton, Ohio 44720 for a planned commercial complex, parcel 55-01624. Section 713.2 B2 conditionally permitted uses. Planned commercial complex for 2 or more uses as permitted in this district, subject to subsections 103 and 120. The front part of the property is zoned B2 General Business District, and the back portion is zoned R2, 1 and 2 family residential district, and is located in the northeast quarter of Section 6. Is there anyone present to speak in favor or present the appeal?
Aye.
All right, step forward, please. Have you signed in yet?
I have.
Okay. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the information you are about to present is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
All right.
So the appeal,
Name and address.
I'm sorry?
State your name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kenny Peterson, resident of Canton, 217 Second Street Northwest, Canton, Ohio.
Center Street,
Second.
second.
Yep.
Thanks.
We're good?
Yep.
All right, so the reason for the appeal is because this special consideration, I can understand why the objection is because of, you think it's gonna be some massive building that's not, okay? And let me kind of give you guys a little bit of back history on why this building is important. The clientele that we are going to serve with this building, it's gonna be a pole building, are people with disabled abilities, okay? It's a workshop for them to go in every day for 5 hours a day, go in there to learn life skills, job skills, doing crafts and everything else, to try to prepare them for, obviously, if they ever would get a job, right? Where the building is gonna be located is currently, there's no wildlife or there's no trees that we're gonna cut down or anything like that. It's gonna be still, in the commercial space. The portion of question of saying that, well, there's residential, that's the back 15% of the entire allotment. We're not even going there, nowhere near that. We're just gonna put a building up, a couple bathrooms for people with disabilities. And that's really why we wanna do this, because obviously, those are the people who are forgotten in our community. I mean, it touches me personally because my cousin is gonna be one of those people who's gonna come to that workshop. And she's 43 years old, and you should see her smile when she goes to the workshop. These people are touched every single time they get an opportunity to go out and make a couple dollars or whatever the case may be, build a birdhouse, whatever. The luxuries that we have, they don't have, obviously. So that's why, we want to put this building up to help these people.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else to speak in favor of the appeal? Okay. Anyone to speak against the appeal?
Well, I'll speak, I'd like to make the record.
So step forward, administer the oath. Well, an attorney. You an attorney?
Yes,
Does he need to do the oath?
Yeah.
All right. You swear or affirm that the information you're about to present is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Okay, can you state your name and address?
My name is Dean Grace, my address is 8054 Berkey Road, Northwest, North Canton, Ohio. So, yeah, we had a meeting here December 4th, and I objected. When I spoke, I believe I spoke to Ms. Fisher after the meeting, and she said, what Mr. Peterson said, we're only going to build this on the B2 portion of the property, which I did not know. If that's the case, I mean, I obviously have no basis for an objection, okay? That was not clear. I mean, and in the letter I received, it said that the conditional use permit was for the entire property. And I get that this is tricky stuff to try and express through the English language. That's basically what was the point of my objection, was I thought the entire property would be, including the residential portion, would also be part of the conditional use permit. So I guess in making the record, I would just like to say that, in the event that it is just built on the B2 portion of the property, I have no basis for objection. My only reason for objection was I was unaware that that would be the case. From the language, it made it sound like the entire property was going to be part of the conditional use permit.
Thank you.
Well,
Is there anyone else to speak against the appeal? Okay, seeing none, any questions from the board?
I just have a question for Tom. The use classification for the adult daycare center, what they're proposing for the adult daycare vocational, that falls within the B2 classification?
Yes.
Questions? And I will say the drawings we've been provided do indicate that it is built on the B2 section.
Yeah.
Make a motion, unless, go ahead.
No, entertain a motion.
Make a motion here, appeal number 1396-24, applicant owner Katie Fisher, 2095 Wyndham Street Northeast, Canton, Ohio 44721. The applicant is requesting a conditional use for the property located at 7975 Cleveland Avenue Northwest, North Canton, Ohio 44720 for a planned commercial complex, parcel number 5501624. Section 713.2 B2, conditionally permitted uses. Planned commercial complex for 2 or more uses is permitted in this district, subject to subsections 103 and 120. Now therefore be here by resolved by the Plain Township Board of Zoning Appeals to grant this request.
I would just, before I second, I would state that for purposes of the conditional use permit, maybe when you can amend the motion, or the motion is that the use is to occur entirely on B2, not on the R2 in the rear, so there isn't any ambiguity with respect to anything to be constructed in the rear of this property,
Okay, I'll amend my motion.
unless it meets the requirements of R2.
I'll amend my motion that the conditional use is subject to the building being constructed within the B2 framework as was discussed previously.
And I will second the motion.
All right, any further discussion? All right, when you're ready, Tom, roll call vote.
Ms. Sternova,
Yes.
Mr. Solz,
Yes.
Mr. Mussolini.
Yes.
Mr. Beck.
Yes.
Good to go.
Appreciate you guys.
We'll stop in for our bun cakes.
Before we can issue a permit,
Yeah,
you have to get that cleared with regional planning.
okay. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
All right, moving on to appeal 1397-25. Applicant owner general LLC, Philip Roll, 5234 Violet Knoll Avenue Northeast, Canton, Ohio.
What was this street?
Violet Knoll
Okay,
Avenue Northeast, Canton, Ohio 44705.
thanks.
The applicant is requesting to renew the conditional use permit for the property located at 4126 and 4128 Armont Avenue Northeast, Canton, Ohio 44705, that expired on September 4th, 2023, for the mobile home on property, which is a 14 by 72 with hitch. Parcel 52-00608 and parcel 98-001946. Section 1101.1E, conditional zoning certificates. The breach of any condition, safeguard, or requirement shall automatically invalidate the certificate granted and shall constitute a violation of this resolution. The property is zoned RR, Rural Residential District, and is located in the northwest quarter of section 25. I will also read the fire department comments into the record, and the fire department has no recommendations or suggestions regarding this appeal. So I assume you're to speak in favor?
I'm here, I guess I jumped the gun a little bit.
Okay, no, you're good. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the information you're about to present is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes,
Okay, and did you sign in?
I did.
And can you please state your
I
name and
signed in
address?
back there. I don't have to
Oh,
sign in
that's
here
good.
if I signed in back there.
Yeah, you're good. Can you state your name and address, please?
Yes, my name is Attorney Kara Dodson. My business address is 6545 Market. I am a part of Mr. Solz's firm, just to put that on the record.
And I'm going to recuse
Abstain.
myself from this appeal.
Okay.
Well, that's a problem, because I had a question for you, Bob, about this. I'm glad you told me. So, okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, hopefully I can answer your
Yeah.
Essentially what occurred here is, it's my understanding, there was a conditional use permit issued back in probably 30 years ago, in the 80s, 90s, that allowed this mobile home to be placed on the lot. It was continuously renewed by the prior owners. They apparently received a notice to renew it in 2023, but failed to do so, and then sold the property to my client, General LLC, in October of 2023. He was unaware that the conditional use permit was an issue. When he finally became aware, then he has made the application to renew it, even though it has expired. In the meantime, he has performed a lot of improvements on the property, took down some trees, replaced the furnaces, put in a new septic tank, and really just wants to continue the use that this property has had for the past 30 years, which is kind of residential rental. And that's really his goal here today, is just to continue that, but also make improvements and be a good neighbor to the community.
Okay.
So do you have the question?
Can we renew a conditional use permit that has expired?
I believe you can, that's why we made the application.
As opposed to asking for a completely, instead of a renewal of a conditional use permit, asking for a conditional use permit. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I mean, I guess we filled out the conditional use application, so however you want to phrase it, I think is fine,
The
but
standard wouldn't be any different. Like, if they would come back and just, instead of saying renewal, then if it was a conditional use, it's the same standard. Okay, thank you. That answers my
It
question.
does, yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, thank you.
All right,
any other
thank you.
questions?
No.
Okay.
Is there anyone else to speak in favor of the appeal?
This is Mr. Rowe.
Bill Roholt and,
Can you spell your last name for me, sir?
Roholt. I signed in at the back.
Okay, thank you.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the information you're about to present is true and accurate for the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
So, yeah, I found out about this, after the renewal date. The mailbox was stuffed with all kinds of junk, and I didn't get around to it. And then I called, the receptionist and asked if I could answer your question, just simply to renew it by paying the fee. And, you know, a couple calls, and she said I should just reapply, so that's what I did. And, as Kara said, you know, I went on assuming that I could continue the conditional use and put probably more into it than I should have with the 2 septic tanks and the furnaces and everything else. And, spiffed it up. It's gonna look a lot better than it did. It was sitting empty and dormant for quite a while, overgrown, and it's certainly every bit as nice as the neighbors, but of course it's industrial and commercial surrounding it, so.
All right. Is there anyone to speak against the appeal?
I would move appeal number 1397.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah. I will move on appeal number 139725, applicant owner, General LLC, Philip Roholt, 5234 Violet Knoll Avenue Northeast, Canton, Ohio 44705. The applicant is requesting to renew the conditional use permit for the property located at 4126/4128 Harmon Avenue Northeast, Canton, Ohio 44705, that expired on September 4th, 2023, for the mobile home on property 14 by 72 with hitch, parcel number 5200608/98-001946. Section 1101.1E, conditional zoning certificates. The breach of any condition, safeguard, or requirement shall automatically invalidate the certificate granted and shall constitute a violation of this resolution. Now therefore be it hereby resolved by the Plain Township Board of Zoning Appeals to grant the request.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Ms. Zerma,
Yes.
Mr. Pucciolitis.
Yes.
And Mr. Beck.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so announcements. It says there's a meeting in March, question mark.
There is no meeting in March, and there will not be a meeting in April as well.
No meetings in March or April. All right,
Move to adjourn.
Second.
roll call vote.
Ms. Zerma,
Yes.
Mr. Solls,
Yes.
Mr. Pucciolitis.
Yes.
Mr. Beck.
Yes. At 6:21 p.m.
All right.
See you all in May. Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. that's also.
Okay,
All right, thank you all.
thank you. Take care. Take care, guys.
See you, Bob, it was nice seeing you.
Yeah, you too.
That's a good question. That never occurred to me.
I mean, as long as the, well, it's like,
Night.
good night, good to see you.
Good night.
Have a good night, be safe.